So this Orthodox Muslim has proof that Jesus is a false prophet? Let's just watch before judging.
And that everybody should listen to every single thing that the Pharisees teach. We know very well that the Pharisees taught the written law and the oral law. What we could derive from this is that Jesus Christ indeed confirmed the written Torah alongside the oral Torah. Let's look at an example of the Christian dilemma. Matthew 5:31, Jesus says, "The law of Moses says, if anyone wants to be rid of his wife, he could divorce her merely by giving her a letter of dismissal. But I say that a man who divorces his wife, except for fornication, causes her to commit adultery if she marries again. And he who marries her again commits adultery." Now, in the written Torah and the oral Torah, we have a complete opposite ruling. For example, in Gittin 90a, verse 4, Rabbi Akiva, a first century Jew, a first century rabbi, he says, he may divorce her even if he found another woman who is better looking than her and wishes to marry her, as it is stated in the verse, and he quotes Deuteronomy. And it comes to pass if she finds no favor in his eyes. In Deuteronomy 24, verse 1-5, you could marry, divorce, and remarry without a problem.
I'm already seeing problems. The context. Matthew 5 verse 31 is a part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount where he refers to the Mosaic laws but goes beyond them, teaching a higher moral standard. Deuteronomy 24 verse 1 and 5 discusses divorce laws under the Mosaic covenant, allowing divorce under certain conditions. Jesus, however, reinterpreted the law, advocating against divorce except in cases of material unfaithfulness in 5 verse 32 of Matthew. Debunking this dilemma now. Rather than contradicting the Torah, Jesus is shown here to be teaching the spirit behind the law, aiming to uplift ethical behavior. The aim is not to abolish the Torah like you Muslims believe, but is to fulfill it. Matthew 5 verse 17 and 20, showing how he brought a new understanding rather than a strict adherence to the letter of the law.
Chapter 2, Jesus is confronted by the Pharisees whose teachings are all correct according to Jesus. They confront him for doing unlawful work on the Sabbath, but Jesus denies their understanding, rejects their teaching, and plainly tells them that they are wrong.
Big problem with number 2, the context. In Mark 2 verse 23 and 25, Jesus allows his disciples to pick grain on the Sabbath, which the Pharisees challenged as it appears to violate Sabbath laws. Jesus responds by reminding them of David eating consecrated bread when it needed, implying that humans needed subscribed ceremonial law. Okay, debunking the dilemma. Okay. Had to bite my lips. Okay, debunking this dilemma. Jesus' actions don't negate the Sabbath, but shows a deeper principle. The Sabbath was made for humanity, not to restrict it unnecessarily. So you get what I mean, right? His approach was consistent with the essence of the Torah while challenging legalistic interpretations. This wouldn't disqualify him as a prophet in Islamic or Jewish context, as he prioritizes compassion and understanding over strict adherence.
The dilemma out of them all is that Christianity says that Jesus taught a Trinity. He taught that he himself was God. He himself was Yahweh. Now, the Pharisees, who Jesus said are right in everything that they teach, clearly taught that God is a unipersonal being and not a Trinity. Therefore, with this line of reasoning, if Jesus confirmed what the Pharisees taught, and the Pharisees taught one person as God, yet Jesus teaches 3 persons who are God, then Jesus is an obvious false prophet.
Context. The claim here is that Jesus upheld both the Torah and the Talmud's teaching, that God is not a man, not three persons, and cannot die, debunking this dilemma. While Jesus affirmed the Torah, he didn't explicitly confirm every aspect of the Talmudic interpretation. Jesus' teachings emphasizes God's nature and spirit. John 4, verse 24, aligning with the belief in transcendent God. However, Jesus' followers, based on their experience in scriptures, later developed a theological understanding of his divine nature, which differs from the strict interpretations of God found in Judaism.